So yeah, thank you for having me. So obviously last year, Aurelie and I and my Cranfield colleagues, we hosted the Mahoodle at the Cranfield at the Defence Academy. And the year before that, it was Cambridge Assessment, International Examinations, that kicked it all off, didn't they? So it's really great that year 3 it's still going. So if you want to host it next year, go and let us know.
But closer to us, please.
Yeah, closer to Cambridge because it's quite
it's quite a trek.
Near an airport would be great. So anyway, I'd like to talk about the improved template support features in Mahara. And the reason for this is in October, I had just left my career in higher education after 10, 11 years and moved to Catalyst. All the features that I've ever wanted to be in Mahara suddenly was released, and I couldn't use them anymore. All these things that I've been begging and praying for in Mahara suddenly appeared, and I could no longer tell my lecturers, hey, these things that you've always wanted, they're now here. So I have to shout out my love for them somewhere, so I thought this would be a great forum for that. So thank you for indulging me. So I'm from Catalyst. I'm a product specialist, e-learning specialist, that kind. I'm not technical. I'm a teacher, an ex-dancer, so I'm not technical. And I've asked Jane from Cambridge Assessment to present with me because I can talk about templates, but Jane can talk about how they're actually using it in education as well. So I didn't know if you wanted to say anything.
I'm just going to talk about the background to why we use e-portfolios, why we use templates within our qualifications, and just background information to the qualifications themselves, which might give some context to it.
Yep. And while I'm talking, and for the rest of the day, and you may have seen on Twitter as well, I would really love to hear what you wished the template features in Mahara could do. So what are they not doing for you in your institution? So there's a QR code there, there's a link, I've tweeted it as well. So anything, it links to a Padlet, so please just brain dump all your ideas and wish list items on there, comment on each other's, rate each other's as well. I'd really love to hear this, and I will feed this back to Christina in New Zealand. So, in this sort of context, when we talk about portfolios, we're not talking about career portfolios as such. We're talking about competency portfolios, because we know there's lots of different types. And this is the sort of type of portfolio that I've become really interested in. So, about competency, I think of it as a lovely Venn diagram. You have the competency one side, which is, the thing that you must prove that you can do. And a lot of the times, this is being set by an external body, a framework, just basically something there. The next thing you need to have in this triad is the evidence. So this is your files, this is your photos, your videos, all these things of you doing the thing you say you can do. So that needs to be matched up with the competency. But it's not just that, it's the reflections. That's the third part of this wonderful Venn diagram in my brain that shows, okay, I've done this activity, I have this skill, this is how I've got there, this is how I felt and what I did whilst I was doing that skill, and this is what I'm going to do next time. So when I talk about portfolios, and from now on when I talk about portfolios, I'm talking about a whole body of work that shows growth, it shows the depth of your knowledge and understanding. And it's also aimed at a designated audience as well, because I would love to share my CMALT portfolio with you, which is a competency portfolio, but I don't want to share all of it because there's quite a lot of personal stuff in there, but it is aimed at a specific audience. And there's also the question of why use templates. So there's a famous example of this in 2015. I was very happily invited to be a keynote in New Zealand at the Mahara conference down there, and a question was asked, what do you think of templates? And I said, I hate them. I hate them. They're too restrictive. It's just, here's all the boxes. Just tick all those boxes and put your data. And then Christina did a presentation directly after me saying, templates are awesome. Here we go. And it was quite... So, but it was a moment in my career where I thought, well, okay, we are both talking about templates, but I was thinking of the box ticking, whereas she always thought of it as the scaffolding. So here's your starter for 10. I've started it. You now complete it. And if you have 20 minutes in your time, so it could be on your journey home, I urge you to watch her presentation because it's really interesting. And I love the way she talks about it not being a stamp, so you just don't just tick boxes. It's not a paint by numbers. It is an invitation to start something awesome. So if you have the time, and this still rings true today in 2019, go back to 2015 and watch this video because it is brilliant. So some of the features that have come in Mahara recently, so 1810, like I say, that was my my favourite release so far. There's been a few new things introduced in 19.4, but there's 2 real stellar features that are coming in 19.10 that I've got permission to share with you, so I'm really excited. So I want to know what versions people are on with Mahara. Who is on 19.4? Nobody yet. Anyone on 18.10? Handful. 18.4? Earlier than that? 17.10? Wow. 17.4? I don't know. Anyone earlier than 17.10? You might be 17.4. Okay. What? Wow. Wow. Well, it's still going then. Right, okay, you can go back and hit them with this saying, I need 19.4 now, or wait till 19.10. But anyway, so the things at the top are the things that are currently available to you in 19.4, and these are the things that I love. So instructions. So I remember the days where we used to use a text block at the top to say, this is what you must put in your page. And sometimes a student might accidentally delete it and they've lost their instructions, or you're taking up too much space that the students need to use. Then there's the lock blocks, which I'm going to show you in a second as well. So this is a way of creating your template, but stopping your students from accidentally deleting those blocks unless they necessarily really want to. The ability to copy blocks from a template. So before, you could copy a template, but things like a journal and a planning tool didn't come with it. You had to then put it in yourself. Well, I love the fact now that you can create your own journal in a group, add it to a page, and then when a student copies that, or you push it to the student, they have a copy of that journal, which is a really, really good feature as well. And the timeline feature, what a brilliant way of being able to show your progress. Maybe once a month, just take a snapshot of your portfolio at that moment in time to show progression and growth over the space of time. Then there's the feature of being able to push templates to students. So this is something that Lisa was talking about earlier, and the way of being able to copy templates. So at an institution level, you can set up a template which, as soon as a student first logs into Mahara, it automatically appears in their portfolio, ready to go, ready to edit. And the ability to push templates in a group to a group of students at a press of a button. So these really, really quick things I will show you. And then smart evidence, that wonderful beast that's quite very tech intensive, has now got its own editor in 19.4, so it's even easier to edit your smart evidence templates. So I'm just going to quickly show you these now. Oh, no, that's yours. So I talk about the instructions. So if you haven't seen this already, you can pop instructions at the top of the page. So those where your students might need a bit more support, you can add links to videos as well. So, how to add smart evidence to your portfolio, you can link directly to a video and say, do this, this, and look, and it concertinas up. So that's really, really nice. Students know it's there. The ability to lock blocks. So if I quickly go into... I was talking too long, obviously. So the ability to lock blocks. Okay, so under advanced, so this is where you can put your instructions. Lock blocks. So while this is on, a student who has a copy of this portfolio cannot delete a block in their page. However, if they have the knowledge, they can go into their own settings, switch this to no, and then they can delete blocks themselves. So it's not as if you're forcing them to stay with those blocks. They can edit them as they go. And something else I wanted to show you, so I don't know if you want. Here we go. Surviving the zombie apocalypse. So this is a demonstration I did to my Catholic colleagues a couple of weeks ago. You can now save your portfolio to a timeline. So what I could have done is over time built this up, add all my evidence to my page, and then once a month I can go and I can say, save this to my timeline. And then I can send this off to my mentor or assessor. They can have a look and they can review my timeline and see how much it has changed over the last... Yeah, they can move from date to date to see how different my portfolio was from one month to another. So these are really, really cool features that I really, really like. And then two other things. So there was the video that Lisa was talking about, and I wanted to show you this. So this is what the placeholder block looks like.
Hello. I would like to show you how you can work with the placeholder block that is going to be part of Mahara 19.10, thanks to the sponsoring from Dublin City University. So in the past, you always had to select the block type that you wanted to put onto a page, and therefore make that decision early on. Now you can pull a block over, and then you decide what it shall be. And that allows you to set up templates much more easily, because you only decide on the title of the block, but don't tell the students what sort of content they have to select. So they can do that on their own, then copy that page. And so I can share my very basic template now with everybody on the platform, allowing them to copy it. And when I'm now logged in as a student, I can see that template, copy it into my personal account,
Or have it pushed to you.
and then decide on what type of content I actually like to use, and then direct that to it. The other nice thing about this feature is that the administrator, the site administrator, can decide on the block order. So which of the 4 top items should be displayed based on the content items that are most used on a site, for example. And so you can very easily rearrange them, and therefore make the most important block types that you'd like your students to use available directly at the top, and then further down the less frequently used ones. We hope you'll explore it once it becomes available, or even already now during the development phase. Have a great rest of Mahoodle Fest.
Yay. So it's quite cool, huh? The other cool thing that's coming, and I think it's 99% certain, is this thing called Grid Stack. And if you want to have a go and play, this is awesome. So it's another way of creating templates. And look, you can move your blocks around. You can make them a bit bigger. You can do whatever layout you want. You can make a Christmas tree or a rocket, you know. And it's silly things like this that make me really excited about Mahara. And okay, I'm no longer using it in university, but I get to work with awesome people who do, and share my love to them as well. So with that, I am now going to hand over to Jane.
Yep, that worked excellent. So just to give you, some of you may have heard this information before if you came to our Mahoodle event, but I'm going to give you a bit of background to what we do. So I work at Cambridge International along with Andrew and Liz, but I work in the education division primarily on teacher professional development, and specifically on some professional development qualifications called the Cambridge PDQs for short, ironically. They started in January 2015, and we've had since then about 7,700 portfolios. Now, traditionally, these portfolios have been, so it is a portfolio-based qualification, and they've traditionally been word-based documents that they've had to download, upload. There's a very convoluted process for doing this. And we get around an 84% pass rate, pass or distinction, but we want to improve on that. So we looked at e-portfolios as a solution. Now, as I said, and as Andrew's alluded to earlier, at Cambridge International, we have some quite complex systems, quite complex processes. I won't go into the full ins and outs, but suffice it to say, uploading Word documents was a real headache for us, for our centres, for the candidates. And we also, the examiners wanted to see richer evidence of the teaching practice that's going on in the classroom. They wanted to hear, one of the things that they have to do as part of the qualification is have discussions with their mentors to be observed doing a lesson. So how can we show that? So e-portfolios seem to be the solution. And we also wanted to look at ways we could change the syllabus to enhance that evidence that we're getting from our candidates. So we've introduced, things like inquiry on practice, action research. We wanted more innovative ways of assessing. So, unlike Lisa, our timeline for developing this was quite long because it's a high-stakes summative assessment. So we wanted to pilot with just a few small centres to start with, and then we expanded that to a few more. We're now at the phase where we're trying to transition all our centres across, and this is proving quite a bit of a headache, quite complex. And we've faced a number of challenges, and one of those was then used to just this text-based evidence. What should we include? How do we include it? How do we structure it on the page? So we thought templates, that's what we've used before, is the best way to scaffold this. It also makes it easier for our examiners to assess these portfolios. How do we assess the validity and reliability of this rich evidence? It was easy with the text-based documents. So we've given them some sort of structure with a template. Now, we've given them the bare bones. We've put 3 headings on our templates, evidence of learning, evidence of practice, and evidence of reflection. We've not said what they need to put in there beyond this is the heading and these are the number of words. We have created some separate pages that show them the evidence requirements, and I'll see if I can bring this up. Well, we can essentially show you here. This is a candidate's portfolio. This is something that's been submitted recently. And you can see that we've given them some headings, but the candidate is free to move those around, change them how they want, but it gives some sort of structure to the qualification. But still, this has proved quite a headache for our candidates, understanding what's required, what evidence is needed. And I'm pleased to hear some of the developments that Lisa is doing in Dublin, particularly that magic block. I think that will make a lot of difference to our candidates, because even today I had a query from a centre saying, OK, you've put these headings in there, but we feel we could do it this way. Is it OK? And I said, yeah, you can do what you want, but it's not clear to them. So giving them something that's not as structured, but is structured in a sense for our examiners to make it easier for them to assess, I think will go a long way to improving things. We also want to look at how we can enhance templates with feedback. One of the key things is the way they can collaborate, share with their peers, get feedback from their mentors and the programme leaders who run the programmes. So we've given them some exemplars where we've put in audio commentary from the examiners. How can they use that as a way? Because at the moment, comments just appear at the bottom of the page. We had put in the smart evidence as the first page in the portfolios, but that proved a step too far for our candidates. They really didn't engage with it. So one of the new features in the templates, I'm not sure if it's not on this one. Oh, you see. Is it? Yeah. You can see there's a signed off and verified. Now, they haven't used it, but the option there is a simple tick box to say, yes, I've completed my portfolio. The programme leader can look at it. They can add some comments at the bottom if they want, tick on verified and say, yeah, I'm happy that that's ready to be sent to Cambridge for assessment. But I still think there's some work we can do around how we provide feedback and how that appears on the page and how you relate it to the individual bits of evidence. One of the other things we're looking at with our templates, we've got an issue with, well, not so much an issue, but we have 2 projects, one with Arabic-speaking countries and one with Spanish-speaking countries. So we're currently looking at templates in other languages. Now, we did some testing with our Arabic examiner on Friday, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done before we can even venture down that road. But that's another thing we need to start thinking about. But what we want to try and do is make it a simple and easy process for our candidates to use the templates, giving them that flexibility, but in the same way enabling our assessors to easily assess these and to be able to standardise the portfolios.
All right, okay. Well, we're done then. Thank you. Any questions? Oh, hello, Lisa.
The signed off and verified, is that just a task block with tick boxes or is it linked to anything?
Yeah, it's just a task block that we've dragged across and we've just put it on the front page. They don't have to use it, and it has confused some of them saying, I haven't done this, oh my gosh, I've submitted it. is that a problem? And we've said no.
Did you put that in your instruction?
Yeah, we've put that. Yeah, they just don't read instructions. We've even created a learning object, lots of videos, instructions, and they still don't read anything or watch anything. So yes, it's there merely as a formative assessment tool, because one of the problems we have is that they're not checking the portfolios sufficiently before submitting them. I mean, the templates have reduced some of the errors we got with the old system, where people were forgetting to include some of the files. So that does remove that, and there was about 3% failure rate as a result of missing evidence. So it has reduced that, but there is still some things we need to work on. And it would be great, you know, to sort of work more, see what you're doing with templates, and yeah.